Today's FAQ is an interesting question. How do I learn to play good bluegrass music? My bass playing is monotonous. Let's talk about that word monotonous just for a second. Monotonous is a negative term, and a bass for most settings, and like particularly in bluegrass, your beginning material is going to be in the key of G, which means largely G chord, C chord, and D7 chord. Largely two-beat music, root and five, root and five, root and five, root and five. And if you're playing with a high action on your instrument, then there's a really good chance that you're probably playing 8 notes on the bass, and they're all in a low position. And your songs may run together and you might get confused because all the material seems to be pretty much the same. When you think about what's in a progression for a bluegrass tune, there are a lot of fiddle tunes, for example, that are precisely alike. So when the people are soloing, taking their breaks in the band, you're going to hear a lot of the same information played by those players as you're going through their solo breaks as you did on the last 3 songs. And that can all begin to run together. So if your playing is monotonous, that means that there's something there you want to throw out the window and replace it with something else. And I'm sorry, there isn't anything to replace that information. You've got to love it. You've got to completely envelop yourself in what you're able to produce from a musical standpoint for the band. You're the harmonic timekeeper. You're the tonal drum that sits underneath and makes all the positive feeling for the band. You can make all the songs feel like they're supposed to feel just from the bass line. So don't look at this as being monotonous material. Look at it as being solid gold, particularly if you can create moods, if you can create temperaments, if you can create the storytelling quality of the song just from the bass line. That's where the art lies. So enjoy not being challenged for the while. Learn to create the music in the spirit that it was intended while you're not having to learn the fingerboard. Now in time, you're going to run into some other details where you take all this golden information and move it into a different key and things won't any longer be in the key of G. So in the meanwhile, try to become expert at what you're playing and try to avoid words like monotonous, because that means you're trying to replace music that you can't replace. Food for thought. See you later.